track like I'm Usain. I spit on the track and let the blue flame. I've been off the shits for a few days.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Thank You Brother, aka One Take, aka Thank You Brother. Now we back a little bit ahead of schedule. I know I said another episode of Boot Camp wouldn't be out till Monday, but I think that might change just depending on what goes on throughout the week. Of course, there will be still the every Monday episode, but I think today deserves a special episode after last night's Cleveland and Golden State game. That is what this episode is going to be about. It is going to be dedicated towards. We're just going to talk about the Cleveland Golden State game, what happened, what went wrong, and what I personally feel needs to happen going forward in order for Cleveland to possibly get back to the finals, which I personally don't think is going to happen if they keep this same team. But we're just gonna dive into a few things. I'm gonna keep it a quick episode. We're just talking about, like I said, one topic, nothing really too deep. But yeah, let's get right into it. So if you don't know, Golden State beat Cleveland. They swept them in the season series. First game was in Christmas Day. This time it was last night. Yesterday was the 15th. Yeah, it was a good game overall up until the fourth quarter. But we're gonna talk about a few things. Kevin Durant had a great night, finished with 32 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, nice little box score. Him and LeBron both had 32 apiece. LeBron had 32, 8, and 6, but the big difference between those two box scores is the fact that LeBron had 8 turnovers. Now, LeBron has had a lot of games this season where he's had quite a few turnovers, and that's cost his team a lot of points in transition. And especially against a team like Golden State, you don't want to give up too many points in transition because they're a run and gun team. You got 3 players who can take 3 steps, 4 steps past half court and pull up and do that to you all game. Curry, Clay, and KD. They also, between Golden State and Cleveland, Golden State out rebounded them. Had more assists, one less steal, more blocks, one less turnover, or one more turnover. I'm sorry. Shot better from the field and the 3. Now, rewind real quick. A lot of those stats were close. Like, Golden State only had 5 more boards, 48 to 43. Only 7 more assists. The biggest thing to me that cost Cleveland this game, because the first 3 quarters are great. They played some great defense. They kept it closer than what I thought it would be, but also got to consider that they're playing at the Q. They're playing at home. So that kind of gives them a little bit of a motivation to play harder than usual. You playing at home, you playing against the guys that just beat you Christmas Day and in the finals last year. Yeah, they played great the first 3 quarters, and then like after a few minutes of the fourth, I guess when they sat LeBron down, it just went downhill from there. But the thing that really held them back also was free throws and the fact that they shot 25% from 3. Now, Golden State shot 37.5% from 3. Golden State also had 30 free throws, and I think Cleveland had 22. So that right there is 8 points. You lost by 10. That's 8 points you could have made it a game if you would have either got to the line more or converted your free throws when you had the chance. Now, back to this quarter by quarter thing. Like I said, they played great defense against Golden State. Like Curry and KD didn't really come out hot in the first quarter. It was Clay. I think Clay really kept that game close in that first quarter, and that's what's dangerous about Golden State. If you got your top 2 players, let alone 2 of the arguably the top 5 players in the NBA, if they're struggling, you got Clay, you got Draymond, you got Nick Young, you got so many Caspi, you got so many of the great scorers, great shooters, people that can create them shots. That they can still, hold it together until KD and Curry get it going. Now Curry, although he didn't have it going in the first, he still shot great. He shot 8 for 15 from the field. Now it might not sound like some crazy numbers, but up until the fourth, he was really shooting really, really good. Like whatever he was taking, he was making. Now he missed. He only missed how many shots from 3? Yeah, he was 4 from 8 from three, so that's where his misses really came from. He did take a lot of deep threes, and that's something I got to give credit to Cleveland for. They were, if Golden State wanted to take a three, they were making them take deep shots for contested threes, running them off the 3 point line. They weren't giving them open looks, and that's something that I got to give Cleveland a lot of credit for in those first 3 quarters. At least they were making them take tough threes, um, but that's kind of impossible. A tough three to Golden State is an easy three to them. That their type of 3 pointers is a tough three for other type of teams, other players. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, they did make them take some tough shots. Kev shot 4 from 6 from three. Clay shot 3 for 6. Now Draymond shot 0 for 5, and we all know he's not that great of a shooter from anywhere. Um, like his form, if you've seen his form, Jesus Christ, that's all I'm. Man, that's like one of the worst forms I've personally ever seen. Like behind Sean Marion, Lonzo Ball. There's a lot of ugly forms, but Draymond's is up there. Now also, three of Golden State's player had it. Let me rephrase that. Three of Golden State's players had at least 15 points. With Clay having 17, Curry having 23, and KD having 32. And you got a lot of contribution. Draymond had 11. Bell had 6. Iguodala had 9. And you just single digits all throughout the board, but of course that adds up. But on Cleveland's side, only two, or well, they had 3 as well. Isaiah, Kevin, and LeBron. LeBron had 32. Kev had 17, and Isaiah had 19. But Isaiah really struggled, and I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt just because he's coming back off a hip injury. He's been out for a long period of time since the conference finals of last playoffs. He only played the first game and he was out. He shot 8 for 21. They were making it tough for him. Of course, there's a lot of length on that team, especially on the switches. You get KD on him, you get Draymond on him, you get any of these guys to switch on him. He's still gonna have a tough time because Curry. I personally think Curry. I know Curry is a decent defender, but he's not the greatest defender. So Isaiah could have a field day with Curry if he was at his uh, best condition right now. But when they get Isaiah to switch onto another player, or when they switch another player on Isaiah that can stick with him, just with their length and their quickness, like just be able to move side to side, it's really tough for Isaiah at this point, or really any point, just because of his size. Um, Jay Crowder really was irrelevant, always, or I won't say always is, but he's been really inconsistent in Cleveland compared to his Boston days, at least in specifically last season. Um, J.R. Smith, 4 for 8, but it's really like he did nothing. He only had 8 points. Could have had more from him. He's been struggling all season, so I didn't really expect him to go off all of a sudden. But yeah, it was just a really tough game in that fourth quarter for Golden State, especially when you sit LeBron James down. This team is still learning how to play together. You sit the team that's the glue to your team down. It's really gonna be tough for you. And after a while, Golden State started to pull away, um, and it was really over. I'm I'm really happy to see that they played some really good defense up until, like I said, like 4 minutes into the fourth, few minutes into the fourth, they started slacking off. Um, but they need to make a move. Cleveland needs to make a move. I heard Stephen A. throw the name Anthony Davis out there. Don't think that'll happen unless you give up that Brooklyn pick, which is losing value because Brooklyn is not a bad team this year. So that pick is going to drop in terms of where it's going to be in the draft. It was going to be a top 3. That's what people thought when we had it, and then we gave it up. Now it's going to be a top 10, and it's like it's going when D'Angelo comes back and is healthy to play. You got Jaleel there. You got a nice little team. That's ready to play, and they're going to get more wins, and that pick is just going to lose more value. So if they don't get it off now before Brooklyn starts racking up some more wins, they're going to be stuck with that pick, and they're going to be stuck with nothing. So they need to give up that pick if they want to make a move. That has to go. I don't think Anthony Davis is the person they're probably going to go for. I think I said on the other podcast, they've been targeting DeAndre Jordan a lot. Me as a Boston fan, I don't want them to get that, but me just wanting to see this team actually play some D, they need to go get DeAndre. before Milwaukee tries to snatch him. Because if Milwaukee snatches him and Giannis, and then you got Jabari coming back and Chris Middleton, you got Eric Bledsoe. Oh my God, that is definitely going to be a top 3 team in the East. And yes, that means Cleveland won't be in that top 3. It'll be Boston, Toronto, and Milwaukee. It'll be just, I don't know who's going to be second between the two of them. That's just really who. I don't know. That's just something we have to wait and see if DeAndre gets shipped to Milwaukee. Now, I don't think that they need to go and get just somebody who can score. I think they need to target somebody who is a defensive specialist, somebody that can get that defense going. This team can score. Like, you can give up Iman, who doesn't score. You can give up JR, who's been trash. Shit, you can give up Jay Crowder. You can give up some of these players who really haven't been contributing on that offensive side and go get you a really good defensive player. Now, Jay Crowder is a good defender, but you can upgrade from him, because I'm sure there is some better defenders out there that you can go snatch, plus somebody who will be somewhat consistent on offense. Now, we'll have to wait and see. Deadline is coming, I think, next month. Of course, it'll be around All-Star break, so I did read from 2 reports this morning. Both came from Bleacher Report, that they will definitely make at least one move. That was one report, and the Cleveland players aren't happy with how the team is looking. 4 straight losses. You got handled by Minnesota. You got handled by Toronto. You got handled by Indiana. You lose last night to Golden State. This is like when you lose to Toronto and Golden State specifically, one team that you may have to see in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and then another team that you want to get back to the finals to see. If you lose to both of them the way you did, that's like the measuring stick to let you know where you are. So, based off of how they've been playing, especially with Isaiah back, I know he's, like we've been saying, he's trying to get back into the groove. You got to make a move. You have to make a move. You got to do something if you want to come out of the East, because I don't think they're going to come out of the East with this type of team. Being unbiased, just because I'm a Boston fan, Boston will beat them in 7 games. Let's be real. Toronto will beat them in 7 games. Let's be real. We just have to wait and see what happens, though. We'll have to wait and see. Golden State handled business last night. Now, I was rooting for Miami to win their game against Chicago yesterday, but didn't really happen, because if Miami would have won yesterday and Cleveland lost, then Cleveland would have dropped to 4th. Miami would have moved up to 3rd, and it's crazy because Miami has slept on from being a team last year that didn't make the playoffs by I think a half a game. You lost that spot to Chicago, who I personally wanted Boston to play instead. I wanted Boston to play Miami, because that would have been a much easier start, because we went down 0-2. Everybody was like, we're getting swept, and Rondo got hurt, and the rest is history. Now, we'll see, though. We'll see. I'm still rooting for Miami to take that 3rd seed, because fuck Cleveland. That is just me being a Celtics fan. I just cannot rock with Cleveland. I hate the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still rock with Isaiah, though. That is still my boy. But we'll just have to see what Cleveland does, man. If y'all have any thoughts on what you think Cleveland needs to do, if you think they should or should not make a move, let's have a discussion about it. Tweet me, hit me up, Instagram, Snap, comment, YouTube, message me, wherever you can find me. Just let's talk about it. Let's discuss what we think Cleveland should do, and what's the state of the Eastern Conference with Cleveland kind of slipping away if they don't make a move. So, as always, this is your boy. This is the 4th episode of Thank You for This Podcast. Like I said, we're probably gonna have these little special episodes happen throughout the year, just depending on what goes on. I don't want to put things off until like that next Monday. It kind of like loses that hype, so it'll be best if I just hop on and talk about things as they're going, you know what I'm saying? So we'll probably have just frequent episodes, like off schedule. Still will be one every Monday. But yeah, it's your boy, Thank You Brother, aka TYB, aka One Take, aka Thank You Brother. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next episode of Thank You for This Podcast. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to my SoundCloud. Episodes we posted every time we drop. Also, check me out on iTunes. Search up Thank You Brother on iTunes. All podcasts will be sent there as well. And just stick around, guys, because we got more of these to come. It's your boy. Peace.
I spit on the track and let the blue flame. I've been off the shits for a few days, and I got a new bitch like every Tuesday.